So, you know, it's really issue driven, it's the quality of the candidate, and you've got to get people to get out and vote. Just like Clyde said, if you have the minority population not voting because they believe their vote doesn't matter, or for whatever reason, because they can't get there, because it's too encumbering, because they don't have transportation, or they're working, or whatever, and legitimate reasons, something's got to be done to make it easier and more compelling, and have them understand that their vote does matter. And when I ran, I tried to get the Journal-Star to make that the issue. I said, it's not the fact that I lost. The fact is that I lost by 12 votes, and the turnout was so low. It was so low. So, for what that's worth.
Yeah, go
I have a
ahead.
question. There are 5 groups involved in this study. Now, how are you reporting back all that has been brought up to the City Council? Is it on the 15th of November? How are you going to report back the information you have been given, or is Larry going to present his thing to them? How will they get a background here?
Well, we're taking minutes of both meetings, and then we're going to have the survey data that is filled out by the citizens, and the report. I think Larry's report has already been made available to the Peoria City Council.
Presented all your information to the City Council, or
Not in person.
well, like this?
I tried to make this self-standing.
Because I think your report is very interesting, and I think there's a lot of really good information, and maybe, I hate to say this, maybe some council members don't understand some issues. And I think presented, it's too bad that that can't be done, because I think it would help them to grasp some things maybe they haven't thought about, to make a good decision, because it'll be another 10
Well,
years.
if Larry's willing to go with me on the 15th, I'm sure that, yeah, Pam?
Yeah, I'm still not, I've been to both meetings, and I'm still not real clear on what the requirements are as far as going back to court. Joyce said, made it sound like it's required. You all almost sound like it's just kind of a courtesy. It would be prudent.
Pam, you're putting words in my mouth, and
Yeah,
I have
okay.
never said that.
Okay, I didn't say
Not even,
almost.
you know what,
Sound
that's not
like,
even
yeah.
fair.
Okay.
Not fair at all.
Well, what?
That's not what I said. I've been very
I
clear.
said that.
It's not
Okay.
fair.
Okay, well, so what would be, what's the correct?
You have to go back to the federal court. You
You
have to go back to the federal court. I've said that 10 times. Yes, ma'am.
I agree that I agree that you didn't say that was the case, but it kind of sounded like it was represented that way, because March 20th, 2012 is the spring primary. The maps need to be done by November 2012. So folks running in March 2013 know their districts. And so based upon what was the information given, I was assuming before this exchange here that it was just a regular course of businesses, and this is what we're going to do. And it was sounding pretty easy,
Well, no, I think what that's referring to is that we have to go through the redistricting process within that time frame. Those maps have to be drawn, and if those maps are keeping 5 at-large cumulative voting and 5 districts, we're mandated to do that timeline, okay? And it's totally the choice of the citizens and the council whether we're going to move towards looking at a different structure for electing city council members. And an absolutely essential step in that process is to go back to the federal district court.
well, having them both together, it sounded like they were kind of connected.
Yeah, Billy.
Well, my question is, when you go to court, who is going to be the presentation? Will it be the institute? Will it be the city?
It'll be the city.
And who's going to, you have to prove that the lawsuit is still being upheld, or are you going to try to get that reversed, or?
No, it
some
wouldn't.
kind of
No, it would, I mean, and again, if Randy was here, he could speak more specifically, but you're going to have to convince, I think, the federal court that whatever alternative that you're moving forward with as far as a referendum protects minority voting rights and and enhances their opportunities for representation on the city council. If you don't pass that threshold with the federal district court, then I don't think they're going to approve moving forward with the referendum. So I think that's part of the process. Yes.
Your survey.
It's my survey, so don't point at Larry. I'm the blame for the survey.
Okay. What's the percentage now so far? Have you looked at it?
I haven't looked at it. Don't know. I got a big event tomorrow, and it's on Zoomerang, and I plan to check to see how many people have filled it out and start to, assemble that. But honestly, I haven't had a chance to do it yet.
Okay, but by that time, when you go to the city council, you'll have to know.
I'll have a report, a very specific report on how many people filled out the survey and what the results of that were.
Would you consider this a scientific survey or unscientific, or what would you call it?
It's a citizen feedback survey.
Okay, so if the percentage of citizens who participate in the survey are skewed, then wouldn't it make the survey skewed as well?
Well, obviously, that's a good point, and all I'm going to do is present what is to the council, what is actually filled out by the citizens, and then they'll have to interpret the data. If they think that the survey isn't a good representation of the community, then they probably won't give it much credibility.
But they won't know. Would you add any notations that the survey does not purport to represent a cross section of the community, or how would you notate the survey so they know?
Well, there's a place for people to put their ethnicity on the survey. So, you would, I'll give them the data that we have, and then they'll have to make their interpretation from that.
My point is, if you're at home on your computer and you're completing a survey and you check that you're African American, who's to say? Your computer doesn't say, oh no, he's not African American. I mean, so it could be skewed.
It's the same way for the census. I mean, there's no way to actually 100%, protect the full accuracy of this stuff. You have to somewhat count on the good faith of people to do it the right way. Yes, sir.
You mentioned you're on Zoomerang. Where at?
It's on the City of Peoria website. So if you go to the City of Peoria website, just Google City of Peoria. It'll be the first thing that'll pop up, and on their main front page, you'll not only see a link to Dr. Aspen's full report, but also a link to the survey. This is the first time I've done Zoomerang. I don't know if you do it that way, or I'll be glad to if that's what you do. I mean, I'm going to be presenting it in a very public way to the Peoria City Council. I'm sure it'll be published in the newspaper and other media. Anybody else? Chuck?
I'm concerned about the survey because I've listened to this now for an hour and a half, and I've seen the handout before, and it's so difficult to draw conclusions. I mean, people that are doing the survey, it's kind of just a gut feel of what you think, and it really doesn't have any accuracy with regard to what the reality of the study is. So that concern that the survey may come out that's based on what people think, when really their thoughts are not relevant to what the reality of the study might be. So it concerns me, and then that gets out there, and and people say, why did you rely on that? Well, because people didn't really know what they were doing when they filled out the survey. So.
Well, we're linking the survey to this to the report. I mean, they're right next to each other. It's basically going to count on people doing their homework, and I mean, it is. No, I don't disagree with that, but I don't know of any other way to do it. I mean, we have public meetings and public forums, and then we try to give access to the information as best we can to the people, but ultimately they have to do their homework. And this is not an uncomplicated thing. thing. I totally agree with you, but I don't know how else you'd do it.
I have a question for Mr. Aston. Based upon what I've read here, is it correct for me to assume that the summary of your survey suggests, your summary of your report suggests that cumulative voting remains?
I haven't taken a position on that.
Oh, okay. I thought in here where you indicated that on your summary page, electing a minority preferred representative is easier under cumulative voting than with straight vote.
It is. That's a simple fact. That's a fact.
So if that's a simple fact and the survey turns out to suggest that people want to change it, I guess when we go to court, those two things will maybe opposed to each other.
You may want to look at other alternatives and say, are there other possibilities where you could gain more representation than the current 2 seats? And that's possible. You know, I haven't looked ahead to the alternatives. My task was from the past up to the present. What's it been doing? Do we like the current system we're in? I have not evaluated alternatives in terms of which one would do what. No, I can't help you there tonight. I'm trying to hire someone who will do that, but he will not, or she will not come on staff until next September, and I think that's way past the timeline, okay?
One thing that I would love to see you do that, because it is very hard, I would think, for a politician to draw a district that would put them out of a job. But if we sincerely believe that diversity is good for the city of Peoria because we are diverse, that those who sit around that horseshoe ought to represent the faces that live in this city, then someone outside of those who are sitting around the horseshoe certainly ought to be the one that draws the map, in my opinion, so that we really can work at being an inclusive community.
True.
I have no say on that. That's above my pay grade.
Do you mean draw the map, or do you make the decision between whether we go away from cumulative voting and what other scenario may be do a better job of representing minority communities?
I actually mean draw the map. Draw the map.
Anybody else have anything for the good of the order? All right, if you want to leave filled out surveys at the table back there, I'll pick them up. If you want to do it online, that would be great too. I appreciate your interest in coming out tonight, and have a good evening. Thank you.